I'm unmuted. There we go. I was talking with the mute thing on. Welcome to the show, everybody. If you've been watching us for any amount of time, you already know how we're feeling today. Elimination Chamber was last night. It was a great show. It was a great show. I'll just go ahead and emphasize it. Great show. It was great. But man, that ended. I know we're on the same page here. we were not feeling good. But other than last night, how you been, bud?
I based my whole week off this to make sure that I got off on time to watch this. I had like 30 wings. I ate a lot of them and I had to prepare. So how I've been in my week is all determined on, what this gave me. So I don't give a shit about the week. That week sucked. The whole week sucked. I'm joking. It's not that bad. I thought some stuff through, but I don't know, Jimmy. I can't talk right now.
All right. Well, I mean, I've had a decent week. I'm not gonna let last night completely kill me, man. It didn't make me feel good. Let's get these looking good, babe. No, babe, you is the one that's looking good, babe. And she says hello, Tidy. I got David in the chat. David, what up? Good evening to you too. He says 7 out of 10 show. Oh, so that's how we'll kick this off then. We'll go right into it. You've seen the whole show, yeah?
Yep.
All right. So rank it. What would you rank last night's show overall? Take our sadness out of it for a second. How would you rank the show overall?
Oh, I watched the match twice, so it was way better than I thought. Way was fucking really good. I'm gonna have to say like 9.5 out of 10.
I'm glad we're there because I think it was a 9 out of 10. And the reason I rank it so highly is because it was such a highly hyped show. Like, this is probably one of the best built shows they've had in a while. There was a lot of hype behind it, and they delivered. And it's very rare that you deliver on that much hype for a show.
Since Cardiff.
And I think it surpassed Cardiff. I think 100%.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Cardiff.
Yeah.
I think the main event is the best built main event. And I can't even tell you the last one that's been built that damn good. But I'll get more into that when we get to the main event. We're going to go in order here, so we're not taking up too much time on the Sami stuff, but we're going to get to the Sami Roman match. Courtney's ears up, and she says 9 out of 10 as well. So we're all in a pretty close agreement there. 9.5, 9, and 9. That's good for you. So with that, we'll start with the first match. It was the women's elimination. I was surprised they started with the women's elimination chamber because that was the only women's match on the card, and it was like, oh, okay, we're just gonna get it done right out the gate. Okay. So women's chamber match. How did you like it?
Again, watched it again because I had really fun with it. I think while it was going, I wasn't having as much fun for some reason, but then I had to watch it again, and yeah, I really liked the match. It's just certain spots stuck out to me. Liv doing the sunset flip off the pod.
Liz showed out. I mean, Liv showed out. Yeah.
There was that oblivion she did, and then it got like countered and put into a sharpshooter, and then Asuka did the whole thing to get Liv out. I mean, that's a great way to, well, of course you're gonna lose. I mean, it's a good way to say she just didn't get pinned or got a couple hits, and she got double teamed by Asuka and the sharpshooter of Canada.
She passed out, so it was like, yeah.
There's a couple good spots that stuck out. I mean, I did want Raquel to win, but the more I watched it and I thought about it, I'm like, I'm with Asuka because I think it'll be more interesting in a different way of Asuka fighting Bianca at this point. So I was okay with it all overall, man. It was really good. As I was rewatching it, it was kind of hard because I still had the whole Sami thing in my head. Like, no, I need to watch this again. But
that's why I'm not even going to try and rewatch the show probably for a month. I just don't think I'll be able to, honestly. And even then, WrestleMania is going to happen. It's going to all come back. So it's going to be a while before I can rewatch this show. So I'll give my take on it later, I guess. just as the follow up, because I know sometimes it's fresh in my head, so I'm like greatest ever, and then a few months later I watch it, I'm like that wasn't that good at all. So we'll see in a few months, but I think Liv looked awesome. I think every girl in this match looked good. I don't even think Nikki looked bad. I just think her run was too short. Because even in her little burst, she was a firecracker. She was whooping some butt. She was doing what Nikki does. I'll touch on this part real quick. He says it was a little repetitive, wasn't great, wasn't bad, and the right woman won. So a few things with this one. I saw someone else. They were talking about repetitive because they were saying the girls kept shoving their faces to the chamber. And I gotta be honest, I remember seeing 3 girls do it. I don't remember it being as often as I've been seeing other people say it. I don't know what else would have been repetitive. Feel free to like elaborate on it. I'm not saying you're full of shit. I'm just trying to talk myself through it. I just know that the one face through the cage thing was a repetitive thing that they did, but I don't think 3 times is enough to. Like if it was Liv doing it to every girl the same, like then yeah. But if it's different girls doing it in different ways, I remember Asuka did it and she had Liv's mouth over the thing and she was like, so that's different. I think Liv had Natty's head through the whole thing and was like wrenching on her neck or something like that. So that was a little different. But I don't think it was great by no means. It was definitely fun though.
I'd watch it again. I'd give it an 8 out of 10, or maybe even a 7 out of 10.
I think a 7 is fair, honestly. 8. I mean, I'm not gonna say 8's bad. I mean, that's your opinion, but I think a 7 is fair for it. Like he's giving it a 6, so 7, 6. That's not that far off. I keep saying the right woman won. And man, I hate even saying this because I like Asuka. I really do. And we were so excited about this Kana character change. And I want to ask you a question. I want you to think about it real quick, and then I'll come back to you so you can answer it. So you have time to think about it. Can you think of anything that Asuka is doing differently other than her face paint? So I'll get back to you in a second.
Okay.
Raquel, I was with you. Raquel should have won because I don't see Asuka dethroning Bianca at WrestleMania. And if Asuka does do it, I'm sorry, Asuka is like what I think 41. I think giving that moment, because I feel like beating Bianca at WrestleMania at this point is a huge moment. It's a pretty big moment. Bianca's been probably the best booked person on that roster outside of Roman Reigns for the past 3 years. So I think when you're giving someone that moment, I think giving it to Asuka, as great as she is and as much as she deserves the world, I just don't think Asuka is the one I want to give that to. But that's me. I don't know. That's just me. Again, no disrespect to Asuka because I love her. But now we'll come back to you. Let's get these real quick. Now I'll come back to you. This Sai. We got Sai in the chat. What up, Sai? Good to see you, bud. Good to see you. Got Russell Buddy. Just can you say Drip King and Rules? Tidy. Thank you, sir. Good to see you. Good to see you, sir. We love the live spot. Yeah, that sunset flip off the cell was fucking crazy awesome. Liv was great last night. She's won me over the past year. I'll keep reiterating that. I think Liv has won me over. I think she's awesome. She's night and day difference from where she was a year and a half ago. But here you go. Now that you've had a little bit of time to think of it, do you have any answer to that question? Do you notice anything different other than her face paint?
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
It's not much of anything that's relevant because of it is relevant, but it's not whatever. It's her attitude. It's the look on her eyes. It's the on her face, like she's more serious. And I'm trying to think, there was another wrestler that I was explaining this to someone else, that it was just that bit that they needed, that now I kind of have a character to go with. And I think it was
Austin Theory was the beneficiary of this after he dropped the Money in the Bank and he kind of got that edge to him. I think that's someone who benefited. You could see a little bit of difference in his eye.
Yeah, and then you got the we got the like they said with the Montreal crowd that adds flame to it, right? But it's just us because we all like Asuka, so she puts on a different attitude, and for us, it's like pure fire. Now, if someone else came in the WWE just watching and hasn't seen Asuka go before, that's a different story, right? But for us, the downside is, like you said, Bianca. Should she be the one to have the big deal with Bianca? And I'm with you on that. I love Asuka. I just don't think right now is the time. But at the same time, they can make right now the time, and then make her an empress, make her whatever. Oh, but yeah, I've seen it before. I do want something different. I want a big moment to be for a big person, such as Raquel.
Create a star. Like, and I think people always forget this about Bianca. She's not old by no means, but she's also not young. Sasha Banks is younger than Bianca Belair is. That I don't think a lot of people like realize that. She's like 34, I think. Like,
and if you look at the Elimination Chamber, they all already won a title. Every single one of them has won a WWE championship.
I keep forgetting Nikki did.
Yeah. Well, I liked it, but whatever, man. You know,
I'm not hating on. I don't hate Nikki at all, bro. I'm a big Nikki supporter. I'm just saying, like, I forget that she won the title because it was such a bad run.
So that helped me look at it at a different view of, dude, she's the only one that hasn't won the WWE championship. Like, that would be cool, right? You know, because if everybody else beats her, I've seen you run with it. Why should
sink or swim?
Why should you get elevated when you've already had the championship? This is a good opportunity. So
there you go.
That's kind of where I came from.
Bianca's 33. So again, she's not old, but she's not young either. Like, I don't know how old Raquel is, but I imagine she's significantly younger than Bianca. You just got to take your chances on these people every once in a while and sink or swim. Like, as for the Kana character, it's exactly like I figured it would be, a PG-13 of a TV-14 crate. The face paint is awesome. I did like her little facial she was making while she was in the pod last night. Like, she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna hurt you when I get out," or when someone's getting like brutally hurt. Like when Natty's head was in the cage and Liv was hurting her, they showed Asuka, and Asuka was just like grinning, like, "Ooh, I love it. I love it when people are getting hurt." Like, those little things I know, but other than that, I don't notice anything crazy different about her. Asuka's taking a leaf from the Sting book. Every now and then you tweak the character just a bit and then change the paint up. It keeps fresh. I get it. I guess, yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. I'm not shitting on Asuka. I'll repeat this till I'm blue in the face. I'm not shitting on her. I love her. I love her to death. And I think she's been mishandled quite a few times during her run on the main roster. But she also, okay, Raquel's 32, so she's not even young either. So, all right, shame on me. I'm not that right. I still would have rather seen Raquel. I think it's different.
Yeah.
But I was not as right as I thought it was. So thank you. They both said that. So Courtney and David said that. So Mr. Longbeard that man.
Yeah, that dude, my roommate, beard is the same thing. Like, that beard is ridiculous.
He has a hard time growing it.
But for the match, though, I mean,
just to touch on this, I think Raquel's horrible as a babyface. I think she works. She looks out of place. She needs to be the heel that she was in NXT, because I dug that 100%. Yeah, when she beat Rhea Ripley, it was like I should have been mad, but I was like, nope, I'm good with it. Run it. So make us sound more 43. I thought she was 53, man. I was watching on Nitro, wasn't I? She old, man.
Yeah, she is.
But anyway, that was Sai again as well. You know, he loves Mako.
Yeah, he does.
On to the next match. What was it? Brock and Bobby was the second match.
Yeah.
How mad were you about that one, man?
I wasn't. Well, I was mad when it first started, but I don't know how I don't know how many shots in at that point. Trying to prepare. I think I was about 3. I was 3 shots in, trying to prepare for the Sami Zayn coming later moment, because like I was feeling the butterflies. But when I look back at it, it was 3 spears and a hurt lock. You know, he handed it again to Brock, so that part I'm happy as a Bobby fan. And Michael Cole said it twice, and even during the replay, is like he couldn't get out of the hurt lock, so he had to cheat. And that's the story. The story is Brock is getting beat over and over again. So he's resorting to this. And then as he's leaving, it's kind of like you think, oh, I can whoop you in a street fight. But in wrestling, you got my goddamn number, and I'm sick of it. I think that's just the simple story of it, because I'm okay if they feud towards WrestleMania. The problem is Bray already called it out. Bray's like, I'm taking the winner, and there's no winner.
All right, you jumping a little bit ahead. I'll just say this.
I know.
We're going to talk about it. I just want to point out Sean Ross Sapp. He brought up an excellent point about Brock Lesnar, in that it's very interesting, because I hated the match. I was like, are you kidding me? We've already had 2 duds, and then you're going to do this for your third one? I better not see this match at WrestleMania. I'll just say it. I better not see them wrestle at WrestleMania. That'll be my pee break. I'm like, babe, I'll be back. I'm going to get a drink. Need anything? I'll go to the merch stand. I'll go back out to the car if I need to. I ain't watching this match. But Sean Ross Sapp brought up, and he said, it's a very interesting take to see Brock Lesnar in a position in which he literally had to cheat to get out of it. Because usually he's just a beast who just manhandles everybody and does whatever he wants. He can't manhandle Bobby. So it is a very interesting way of looking at it. I give him credit for even like coming up with that. It's a great, great thought. But holy shit, man. We've been wanting to see this match forever.
Yeah, a real.
And we've gotten it 3 times in the year, and all 3 of them have sucked. Don't do it again. It's dumb. It's done. Bobby wins. So here we go. And David agreed. It should never have a match ever. And it, yeah. I'm not going to talk about the Bray part. We'll talk about Bray, but I'm not going to talk about the match quality, because I don't know who it's going to be based on what Bray said. Because I thought Bray said that whoever wins, he's got next.
Yep.
Someone else told me that he goes, whoever walked away is who he got next, which I think is interesting wording. I didn't go back and look. I don't know. But if it was the interesting wording, it was like, what? So this was their plan from the get-go. It's just to have Brock lose by DQ and then just demolish it's weird to me. But based on that, I don't know if you know the exact verbiage that was used, but Bray, who do you see Bray going after based on how that match ended?
Well, if Bray's messing with people's demons, he's going to go after Brock. Period. That's what I would see Bray doing. He's going to try to attack somebody who's vulnerable. And I think Brock's more vulnerable out of all of it. Bobby just keeps telling the world, what do you say on Twitter? Take this L like a man, coward. It's you got ammunition to use against Brock, and that would be more interesting. And with Brock with good promos, that will be better. So I'd rather see Brock and Bray.
Okay. So you'd rather see Brock and Bray. And they should have done this match like 7 years ago when Bray attacked him with the whole Wyatt family. Why they didn't do, I don't know, but whatever. But so you think it's going to be Bray and Brock?
Oh, I hope I'm wrong. I love Bobby, but
you'd rather see Bobby and Bray?
The Bobby fan wants it, but the problem is I don't see Bobby winning against Bray. I don't see anybody beating Bray, to be honest. But I can see Brock taking the L finally, to Bray. I just think the promos will be better, because Brock is really good when he's doing that little cowboy thing. He's been really good on the mic. And I think that would be more of fight fire with fire. Bobby's going to say a couple things, not be as effective as what you can probably do with Brock, especially if Brock's being a coward. Bray can call him out on it, burn his ass a little. I think it'll just be a more interesting lead. Okay.
And then, man, I don't even know which one I'd rather see, honestly. I don't. The low blows are stupid. I'm going to say this. I actually liked the low blow Brock did, because you see the little hooks like this, and that don't hurt. The way Brock seemingly kicked Bobby, bro, that would hurt. I'd be mad if someone kicked me low like that. I'd be swinging on them. So we got this Hurt Business versus the Wyatt Squad, whoever that may be. And I've seen this get thrown around because we've seen the Hurt Business stuff, but man wants to know more. But she just wants him to talk about that tractor. That's all she wants to do. She wants to talk about. He ain't gonna get no tractor talk if he's wrestling Bray Wyatt. He's gonna be talking about other nonsense. It's a very interesting route that they went there with Bray. I don't know where they go with. I don't. I'm intrigued, I guess. But Man, I don't know. I don't know how a Bray and Brock match works though. I don't. I don't think Brock works well with bigger dudes.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see. And then it's like, okay, that match happens. Say it's Bray and Brock. What's Bobby doing for WrestleMania? Like, if it's Bray and Bobby, what's Brock doing for WrestleMania? Stone Cold Steve Austin, but that's me.
That'd be awesome.
He should start his own line of tractors called Beast Incarnate.
David.
But we've talked enough about that match. That match was bad. It was the one stinker on. The rest of the show was so good, though, that it still was able to get that high rating, in my opinion. If this match would have delivered just a little bit, it would have been a perfect 10 for me, the show. But there you go. Brock's going to get attacked by a tractor that Bray possessed. And it's going to be Ramblin' Rabbit's going to be driving the tractor, and it's going to run over Brock Lesnar.
Christine
Uncle Howdy's just going to be standing in the corner going, yeah, that's what we're going to get with a Bray. Man. Anyway, what was the match? Next up was Judgment Day versus Finn and Judgment Day is Finn and Edge and Beth. I'm gonna be real, because I was over this feud months ago. I think it should have ended when Edge lost the I Quit match, but it didn't, and we still get it. I'll say this was the best and most fun match they've had this entire feud, in my opinion. I really enjoyed it. I like that they focused more on Rhea and Beth as opposed to Edge and Finn. That was very cool. The clothesline shit that Beth and Rhea did was cool. It just goes to show you, hey, girls, big meat, they can slap big meaty meat shit too. They're just as badass. So that was cool. I mean, I knew if the women were going to get the pinfall, Rhea was going to win. If the men were going to get the pinfall, Finn was going to lose. Like, I knew that's how they were going to do this match. Was there anything about this match you didn't like? I'm curious, because I haven't heard anything bad about it. So
no, there wasn't anything I didn't like. I was observing as someone that's not a big Edge fan. I mean, Edge won me over because I wasn't watching way back when. Edge won me over with the whole Randy Orton versus him doing. I was like, that was a badass match, right? Yeah. And then I'm like, I want to see this guy keep going. I want to see his promos get better, whatever, you know. And so I was going in with a mind state of, let's hope it's good. And that's how I kept looking at it. But the more I was there, I got my roommate cheering it on because she's like, dude, it's like Beth did all the work. And like Beth's in the ring most of the time. And I'm like, no, you're right. And I'm watching it. And that's what I enjoyed. Besides Dom running out of the arena. That shit was hilarious. And then he comes back in and he gets
back in just all like, what's up, Montreal?
Yeah, like this poser is killing me. It's hilarious. But yeah, I know I thought there was one big spot. I'm trying to remember it because that's the one thing I didn't go back and fully watch all of it the second time of that because I was running out of time to catch up on something I need to watch.
I think Beth threw Dom up at the ropes to knock Finn down. That was badass.
That shit was hilarious. We laughed at that at my house. So if everybody that is watching, I had me, the wrestling fan, I had the casual that watches like 3 people and knows everything about only those 3 things. And then I had a new who's sitting there, and I'll talk about that later during the Roman part. But yeah, they were laughing their ass off. It's like, oh my God, they ragdolled this little skinny thing against the ropes to knock what's-his-face down. They got a kick out of it. And I was, because from a casual fan who is not like into Beth or Rhea that much, she loved it. It was like, that was badass. Like
it was entertaining. They did it right. They definitely did it right. Edge and Finn will continue right up to Mania. I hope not. I would rather see Edge and Damian Priest. I would like Damian Priest to be like, you know what? You've had your fun with Finn. It's my turn. And I want Damian Priest to go over.
Me too.
Because if Damian Priest went over, imagine the next night on Raw, they kick Finn out. Like, yo, you dead weight to us, man. What are you doing? Like, I think that would be huge for Damian Priest, who has definitely deserved it. He's definitely deserved it up until this point. That dude has been on fire. We're going to be talking more about Damian Priest here in a minute. Yeah, the match was I went in with zero expectations and I walked out like, yo, that was just a really, really fun match. And again, the women getting more time to shine in it was fun. Like that's not usually the way you go about that. So
No.
I know they better hurry. Trust me, I've been on it since last year. They need to hurry up and give this man his run because he's not going to be around forever. I get it. But man, he is so good. He's so smooth. He's interesting. He has a great look. I'm getting ahead of myself with Priest. I'll brag on Priest here in a little bit more in a little bit. She says your tidy, your Cali is showing, your twine. I guess she's talking about your accent, man. She calling out your accents. Toim and toim again. He gave the mixed tag a 6 out of 10. I don't know. 7.5 for me. Again, it was fun. It was just fun. It wasn't a great match. It was just fun.
I give it an 8. See, though, this is the thing about rating. I'm trying to rate the whole show.
Yeah.
You know, but if I was to rate every match, then my score is going to go down. And that's
no, it's not, because I feel like
it's the enjoyment. Overall enjoyment.
Yeah. Because obviously a main event is going to have a lot more weight than the opening match is going to have. So if the main event has like a perfect rating and the first match has a somewhat basic rating, the main event carries it to a higher rating overall. So that you ain't got to worry about that.
Yeah.
She calling you Tidy DeLong, bro. Get that damn Blink-182 nonsense out of here.
Do I have an accent? I don't have an accent. Is that said a Cali accent? Has she been to Cali?
Not yet. She's looking forward to it.
And she didn't seen too many movies. All right.
Yes, we have. But all right, we're done with that. We're gonna move on to what I feel like, as far as in ring, I think it was match of the night. I don't think many people would disagree with me. The men's chamber.
Yeah.
As far as this action, in ring action goes. And again, I know it's the fresh in my head syndrome, but it might have been my favorite chamber match I've ever watched. Because I liked every single person involved in the match.
Yeah.
And I literally, my Johnny Gargano percentage was like pretty low as far as him winning. But everyone else in there, I could have seen walking out with the title. Even Johnny, I could have seen Johnny doing it, but it was very unlikely for me. Everyone else, though, Bronson Reed would be a menace. Damian Priest has been lights out lately. We just heard me bragging about him. I'm about to brag on him some more. And he's part of like the biggest faction on Raw. He's part of one of the hottest acts in WWE right now. So putting the title on him would not be a bad idea. Seth Rollins is Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Montez Ford looked like a star that we all know he is. He just needs more opportunities to show it.
Yeah.
Who else was in there? Austin Theory, and then who was the third? I think that's all. I touched on everybody. So Johnny Gargano. I think it'd be a good way to, I guess, get more eyes on Johnny Gargano. But I just don't think he's done enough to win it. But he looked great in the match. So I'll just say that. What stood out? Who stood out the most to you? We'll start with that question. Who stood out the most?
Man, it's hard to say because, like, shit. I'm gonna go with Priest because that's the top of my notes. Damian Priest is a striking beast. When that dude, I've been saying it for months to my roommate. I'm like, when he hits, you hear that clap. That dude makes it look so damn good. That guy looked like straight fire through the whole thing until he got out. And I'm trying to remember. I think I wrote it down.
Seth Rollins. I did talk about Seth Rollins. I said we have Seth Rollins. And he's Seth Rollins. Yeah. I didn't need to go too much in on Seth Rollins. We already know who he is and what he does. I did talk about Seth very briefly, but go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, I was gonna say, even Bronson, like you're like, I'll look at him with a little bit of doubt, but I'm watching. I was like, I need to see him have a big match. So this time, that ripcord power slam that he did, he pushed him really quick into a. I've never seen that shit before. That was badass.
His kicks are sick too.
So I wrote down the spots that I saw that really stuck out, but Bronson doing that, I mean, and for them to take him out, what was it? It was like 6 super kicks. It
They
was
did the
one,
one
then
super
two
kick,
together,
and then the
then
double
three
super kick, and
together,
then the triple super kick. I was like, damn,
and then
they doing Bronson right. I'm glad
final
they did that
beat,
to him.
the final beat stomp, and I'm not even gonna call it a frog splash, it's a forward splash. Like that's literally what that dude does. That's how they had to beat him. So even the guy that I would have considered being the weakest in there had to get his ass beat to lose. It was just good. I loved all of it, man.
Yeah. Dave saying Elimination Chamber 8.7 out of 10. Well done. That's fine rating for me. Again, I probably have it like 9.5. I really enjoyed the match, but I think it had a lot to do with the fact that I was watching this entire show from a fan's perspective instead of a analyzing situation like I kind of do most of the time when I'm taking notes and everything. I said, I'm not taking notes. I'm not doing any of this. I'm enjoying tonight as much as I can. And it helped. This match was just fun. The Hurricane Rana spot that Johnny did to Seth off the top of the chamber, nuts.
Yeah, I'm like, is he gonna buckle bomb him? What the hell's going on?
Yeah, I thought he was going to power bomb him onto the people, and I was like, that's kind of a dangerous spot there. But then Johnny flipped it and did. I was like, what? Bronson Reed looked like a monster. I know everyone talked about, and Montez did look really good. I would have liked to see Montez not come in last. That's my only gripe there. I think he probably has the most energy out of everyone in that on the card last night, and you had him in that spot. I think first or second, I think could have made him look even better.
Energy is an understatement. That dude did I don't know how many degeneration suckets in that whole match. Just he did like 20 of them. You know, that kind of annoyed my roommate. I'm like, man, that's just what he is right now. He'll calm down, you know. But that dude's got a ton of energy.
Yeah. But I think the way they took out Bronson was just awesome. Yeah. Because I remember having a conversation with someone who's like, how are they going to take Bronson out without making him look weak? And I was like, yo, that's how you take him out without making him look weak. It took all of them boys to take him out, and they had to do work. So I really liked how Bronson looked. Damian Priest looked so damn good. And I'm glad he's using the outsider's edge, and it was a finisher. It wasn't a dang signature that people be kicking out of. Nobody should be kicking out of the outsider's edge. That's foolish, and it's blasphemous. And Scott Hall rolls in his grave every time it happens. It should not happen. Ever. It should never happen. And it didn't. Thank you for that. But Priest, man, when he does them high kicks, it's like, dude, yeah, he looked badass. Here, I want to get this
punches, one. kicks to the torso. Yeah, all his kicks are great.
I see a lot of people do the forearms. They kind of just do the forearm motion. I like how he like rears back and just clacks into it. It's like, yeah, that's Rocky stuff right there. Rock would do the stupidest punches and kicks ever, but the way he just kind of wound them up to do them was like, that little bit makes it look cooler. So,
yeah.
David says, if Priest was 6 years younger, he would fit into the Undertaker passing the torch better than Bray. Here's what I'll say about that. I think Priest should be getting the torch passed to him from someone like Edge. I think he's like, I don't think the Undertaker comparison works. I think Edge is the guy, which is why I want them to face at WrestleMania. I think it would be magical. I think it'd be really good. Really
Edge
cool.
did say at the press conference, he's like, it's hard to say this, but I'm really proud of where Judgment Day's at right now. Like, he did say that.
Yeah. Man, Priest looked great. Nobody in that match looked bad last night. I think everyone looked great. The spots were great. How people were taken out was great. Everything about the match, I have literally no complaints about, other than, again, Montez. And it's not even a complaint. It's like, I just probably would have preferred him to come in sooner. Because I think going out the way he did, had he been fighting the whole time, I think it would have made him look a little bit better.
I did notice something. We noticed it last night. I watched it again just to see if it was true. I was like, yeah, man, every time Austin Theory tries to get in the mix, they beat his ass and throw him out. Like, he didn't really get any wrestling in until the end. And it was more of get the finish in while Logan clotheslines of Seth and help, get rid of Montez, technically. But all he did was get his knees up, right? And then that rolled him out. But I watched that stomp and I rewinded it. Dude, that stomp was real. There's like a puddle of his face, the imprint. Like, after he does the stomp and it rolls off, you can see like the puddle imprint on the outside of the Elimination Chamber. That dude got knocked out.
I don't know if he did.
Dude,
And
there's a puddle. I'm telling you.
I'm glad you brought up. I'm sure there's a puddle. Like his face bounced off and there was sweat. I'm sure for 100%. I don't think he got hurt. Like
it was the Logan spot. So
it was the Logan spot. They had to keep that cage open longer. The way it was done was beautiful because I believed it. Montez, you are a fucking brilliant seller because I believed it 100%. I was like, dude, no, Montez, he gets this big moment and he gets concussed, bro. It sucks. And then I was like, wait a second. Like, it was even the part where they were having him go down the steps and he was slipping and everything. I was like, yo, he's out. He's done. And then Logan came in. I was like, Montez, you got me, bro. You got me. But I think as a fan, like watching it from a fan's point of view instead of the analyzing point of view, I think that helped out with that. I was just like, oh, man, they got me. They got me. Good job. I wasn't even mad at Logan's spot. I will say this. I thought it was absolutely hilarious after Austin Theory won because everybody in the house was like, at first they were like, Gargano's going to win. And then I'm like, Gargano is going to be the next person that gets pinned. And then sure enough, he was the next person to get pinned because of that outsider's edge.
Yeah.
And then I was like, it's going to be A-Town down. 100%. And then who got eliminated? I think Montez got eliminated. When Montez got the stomp, my son just left the room. He was mad. So after Austin Theory won, I went back to the room to be like, A-Town down. He's get out of my face. So Austin Theory, you are a fantastic heel. I'll give you that, bro, because my son is mad as hell at you. Great match, though. Great match. Let's get this Montez love in here. He says he stood out the most to him. She says she stood out the most to her, too. Yeah, he was great. Montez for MVP. Montez could be the face of that promotion or he could. He has it. Like he just has everything. He has all the tools. I haven't seen him cut like a fiery promo yet, I guess, but I have no doubt the man can do it. I have no doubt he can do it. And he's bulked up, man. That dude, go back and look at him when he was in NXT and look at him now. It's like, yo, bro, put the weights down, man. You're killing me. Montez makes what he's doing look natural and believable. So, yeah, 100%. Dude. Everyone was thinking he was going to do a frog splash off a Chamber. I'm glad he didn't. He would have killed someone. I would have rather see Bronson do the splash off a Chamber.
Oh, God.
Take the whole ring down, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, the spot where they had Austin Theory in the pod, and then they shut the sides. It was Seth and Gargano.
They beat the shit out of him.
That shit was so fun. It's so good. I love shit like that.
And Seth beat the shit out of Gargano, banged the back of his head against the glass. We're on top of the pod. At first, they were just sitting like this. And that was going to be a Ciampa moment where they're going to pat their back.
Yeah.
Gargano's like that, and then Seth smacks him. Like that was so good.
The one smack that Seth got on, we'll go to the Sami next. But when Austin was starting to get his butt kicked after taking it out on Gargano and Seth, they started getting their licks in on Austin. And they did this thing where Austin ducked. Like he's like, I'm going to duck the chop. And then Seth just said, pow, right on his back. That sounded like a gunshot going off. And I felt so bad for Austin Theory. Swerve I want Swerve as a champion in 2023, man. I ain't waiting another year. But Montez in 2024, I can see it. I see Montez being the United States champion by the end of the year. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even be mad if Montez is the guy that dethrones Gunther. I'll say that too. I wouldn't even be mad at it. But now it's time for why we're here. It's time to talk about the main event. Man, I don't even know where to start with it. I really don't. I got a lot to say about this one. I got a lot. So we'll start off with the basics. How did you like the match?
Match 10 out of 10. I had to watch it twice to understand it all because I was emotionally distraught. And the roller coaster ride they took me on, it was a back and forth at a time. Sami would get up in the beginning. Roman nails one awesome uppercut that rings through the arena. Oh, shit, he's getting hurt. Sami tries to right so cross. Good. Yeah, the selling when Sami's trying to get up on his feet and he's like collapsing as he's trying to get up a lot. Did that like 2 or 3 times in the match, like midway, beginning. But there was always something. And then right when Roman starts getting more of an upper hand after like the third uppercut, and Sami just can't. And then Michael Cole started to, I wrote it down. Michael Cole was like, to put this in the fans of Montreal's head, and then seeing it play out like this, said that. And then later he's like, do you believe in miracles, right? Yeah, that's when Sami started actually hitting him back. So the pacing was awesome. I didn't realize the pacing was that good, but that's what led to the end of like me taking 5 minutes to take, before I cried, taking 5 minutes to realize what just happened. But the pacing was excellent and way better than I thought. My roommate's complaining Roman wrestles too slow. And I was like, yeah, he does wrestle slow.
That's his
and
style.
Moves aren't all that great, but man, I watched it again, and I was like, holy shit, those uppercuts and hits and what he does, and when he does it right, it's good. And then the crowd started booing. He's like, you booing me? And I think he was trying to yell at Sami's wife at first. He's like, you booing me? He's improvising, working things up, pissing me off too. Goes outside, talks to his wife. I didn't want this. And then, of course, we get the thing we know. No, he betrayed me. No, Sami loved you. Yeah. Like, all the way through, I thought it was perfect, especially the build towards the end. We went through a barricade, dude. All of it was so good. That was a damn good match. Way better than I thought watching it the second time.
So, halfway through this match, my Peacock messed up, and I about lost my shit. Because the audio all of a sudden went like 5 seconds ahead of the video. No. So they're talking about haluva kick, 1, 2, and I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? Roman just got exploder suplex. What are you talking about? Just haluva kick. And then here comes the haluva kick, and I'm like, don't you dare do this to me right now. Don't you dare. So he kicked out, and then they both laid there, and I was like, oh, I better restart. So I had to get out of Peacock and restart everything. I came back, and then right as I came back, Sami was trying through the turnbuckle DDT spot, and I was like, man, I hope I did not miss a whole lot. I don't think I did, but to me, the match itself it's not modern day wrestling. I'm going to compare it to the stuff I've grown up watching from early 90s. It's professional wrestling 101, what they're doing in the ring. You start off slow. You get the lockup. You get the test of strengths. You get the slow stuff. And then you work your way up. And then you work your way up. And the emotion was there because we actually got a story behind a match for the first time in a while, like a real story. I can't say enough good things. I was ready. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't compare it to I'm glad I didn't put it on the same level as this match because I still think it's the greatest one ever happened. Rock Hogan, because of the crowd reaction. I've not seen a crowd reaction like that like what we saw last night at the beginning, and kind of it fizzled out in and out through the match. I'll have to watch again to see how much it was, but it seemed like once that first 5 minutes was done, the crowd reaction kind of fizzled out, and it would pop up a little bit and then go down and come back. It wasn't like consistent, but we haven't seen a crowd reaction like that for a match in forever.
Yeah.
I would dare say Rock Hogan. I can't think of another. Or no, John Cena RVD. I'll say that we had that one too. That was fantastic. But Sami, man, I keep going back to the Sami doesn't make people feel comment, and I'm like, what are you talking about, man? What? Because on SmackDown, he cut the promo after he sat in the ring for like 6-7 minutes while the crowd just showered him with praise. Much like Roman Reigns got when he beat The Undertaker, just in a positive way, not a negative way. That's something we don't see. And then he cut his little promo, and I was like, I feel it, man. I want him to win so bad. Not just because I'm a fan. Because when this whole story started, Sami wasn't my favorite wrestler.
No.
He was a person I recognized and I liked, and I would tell people, like, hey, you should give this dude more props. 100%. I had my friend last week message me like he goes, man, you were telling me about Sami a while ago, but man, I just didn't see it, and now I do. So he goes, kudos. I'm like, you ain't got to tell me. I know Sami's been that dude. We just didn't get to see the opportunity, and he got the opportunity, and he did this with it. The match was just awesome. I can't put it in. I just can't. And watching as a fan, it allowed me to be like, yo, I think Sami's going to win.
Yeah.
I threw logic out the window because I feel like we watch things too logically sometimes. I tried to watch it as just a fan, throw the logic out the window, and I'm like, there's zero reason why he shouldn't win. Everything leading up told us that Sami should have won that match.
Yeah.
And I sat here and I've said for weeks, if they give me an ending to this match that I can accept, I won't bitch. I won't. And I'm not even going to say, no, I will. I will say. We'll get to this in a second. I'm jumping ahead. What did you think of the finish? And not just like the because it did come across a little flat with how, but I think it was the intention, because they wanted to deflate that arena, and they did. Because I really thought Sami was going to kick out, and he did.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
They even had the ref take this time to get in and do the slow count.
Slow count. I was like, oh, Sami's going to get that shoulder up. We're not done. And then I was like, what? I was like the dude in the crowd that they cut right to. I was like,
no, everybody, like me at home.
What'd you just do to
everybody. I was like, it took me a couple seconds to say, no.
Yeah.
No.
But
what?
But with the Jimmy and Jay added to it, what did you think of the finish? You think it was a good finish?
Altogether, yeah, if they're going in the only route that I want, but that's like, it's so I was saying earlier, it feels like it was built to literally, they released the damn Montreal video to give everybody hope, right? No, this is what's his name's video. No, WWE, you're letting them you're playing it during this shit as well. Come on, they're not fooling anybody. You're saying there is a screw job. There hasn't been a big title match, pay-per-view, whatever, in forever, and not that was a screw job. You screwed out our champ. Now we have a chance for our hometown hero. And if you're watching WWE, he's WWE's only hero. So you play this video, not just for Montreal, for us. And then it just makes it seem, you had Cody come out and say that I'll see you at Mania and give like it's possible.
Fuck, don't talk about Cody right now.
Yeah, I know. I'll leave the C word alone. It's
about to ban that name.
It's a dangerous word. But you do all that and then you end it like that. 2 ref false finishes. A pin he could have clearly kicked out of. Jimmy coming when he wasn't supposed to even be there. You know, I thought it would be Solo. And then Jay coming, and then you give me the ending. KO comes at the very last minute while he's getting beat. You could say it's symbolic of what, Sami watched the super kicks go on. He let his friend get beat. You can always add that. But I think that is a fucking swerve. Pardon my language. It's a fucking swerve for only one reason. They want you to do nothing but believe Jay can clearly turn on Sami. And then it has to be a tag title match, but KO has a problem with Sami still, possibly. Where's Solo in all this? I mean, you're just telling me. So I was pissed because
I'm glad you brought that up.
You're telling me that I have to wait for KO to beat Roman later, because that was KO's mission statement last year, the beginning when this shit started kicking off, when he became the prize fighter in July? Okay, so I watched that happen. Now I'm forced to wait for a tag team fight. Now you're going to tell me he gets a haluva kick and that's good enough? I think all that shit is a goddamn set, and we're in and they're purposely doing this to make you feel this way. That's the only way they let the Montreal video go. They wanted to kill us. Good job, you did it. Now I'm hoping it's to build something up.
So
something back up.
So take the fan hat off and I'll put the logical hat on.
Thank you.
To try and help you understand this a little bit. The video was a tool devised to lead you into one belief. And that belief was that Sami's going to do it. The commentary throughout, not just the match, but throughout the night, they hinted on it a few times, was a tool engineered to lead you in that same direction. Dude, Sami's going to pull this out. Like, they did this to perfection. And again, I bought into it. I mean, I bought into this months ago.
Yeah, because we're fanning.
But I bought into it months ago. But last night, I was really buying into it. I was like, man, it's going to happen. Because I'm going back. I watched the hour-long thing on Peacock that told the whole story. And I watched it. And a lot of people was always like, no, the story has always been about Jay and Sami. No, that was a side story. Because the very first interaction that Sami had with Roman, he said, I'm somewhat of a locker leader myself. You're not. He wanted to rebuild himself and make himself credible again. So if at the end of this bloodline stuff, he beats Roman, there's his credibility. He's been built back up. And guess what he is? A locker room leader. No. So all those things that he said he was, he officially becomes by beating Roman Reigns. And that was the first conversation he ever had with Roman Reigns when this story started. So I watched that and I'm like, no. I'm not crazy. The story is Sami and Roman. There's also a Sami and Jay story, 100%. I've never denied it, but I wasn't crazy. So we watched this story unfold. And as fans, I've said this 1,000 times, we always want them to listen to us. Like, we want this guy. Why can't you make it this guy? And then when they do make it that guy, we're like ecstatic through the moon and we're happy about it. Unless they over push it, then we're like, hey, stop pushing them down our throat. Kind of, because we don't like it when people are pushed down our throat. Go back to Roman Reigns, the babyface. We hated that man. We hated that man with a passion because they're like, no, you're not going to tell us who to like, which is very weird because Cody Rhodes is that guy now. And for some reason, everybody buys into it. But that's fine. Like who you like, buy into what you want to. I'm not going to hate on you. I will say, I don't want to say last night was Triple H's first big fuck up. But I do think that they made the wrong call. Not as a Sami fan, I'm literally logically thinking here. Sami rose through the ranks like you're supposed to do. You're supposed to earn it. And he did. Nobody's been able to get Roman booed this entire run. He's even a bad guy, but we're not booing him. We like that man. Who was the first person to get that the fan base to be like, no, we don't like Roman. It was Sami. You literally had the perfect baby face to counteract Roman as the top heel for this program that's been just built before our very eyes. And it, again, organically. I'll say it so I'm blue in the face as well. Like, it's happened organically. And we, like, how you just ignore it. And this is the only reason they're doing it, is because Cody is the guy they want it to be. And they said, man, we can make Roman hated even more so that when Cody beats him, Cody seems even better. So I look at Sami Zayn and all of this as he was kind of used as a tool to help Cody Rhodes get over more.
Yeah.
And when we say get over more, to get Cody on the same level as Sami Zayn. And people can talk about how Cody gets these big pops. When I'll just use my son. When my son goes to see someone he hasn't seen in a very long time, he's super excited because he hasn't seen them in a long time. But when he sees me and he gets excited, that's a bigger deal because, like, he sees me all the time. So I must be, it's a bigger deal to me if you're getting that reaction out of someone we've been seeing for the past year than someone we haven't been seeing for the past year. Yeah. And some of these fans haven't even seen Cody because he was only with us for 3 months before. So they didn't even get a chance to see Cody come to their show. So he's getting the Cody's back cheers. Sami's getting the we fucking love this guy cheers. So everything about Sami Zayn that he's done, everything tells me he should have won that match last night. 100 should have won the fucking match. He definitely should have. With that said, yeah, I think the way they handled the ending was great because you had Jimmy show up and did what he does. Then you had Jay come out and do his thing, and they did the exact same finish at Royal Rumble. And it's like, okay, what's Jay gonna do? And everyone's saying Jay's gonna come turn on Sami. Jay's gonna come turn on Sami. That's what we all thought was gonna happen when we saw Jay come in that ring. Especially when they started doing the exact same thing at Rumble. I was like, we're seeing the same story. It's just going to play out not in our favor this time. And then for them to have Sami be the one that accidentally takes out Jay. Because now Jay can be like, yo, what the hell, Sami? I thought we was cool. And Sami's like, no, my dog. It was an accident. Now you have the reason for Sami to go after Jay because Jay's going to take it out on Sami. And you're going to and the whole Kevin Owens thing, I saw people complaining Kevin Owens, like, why didn't he come out during the match? Well, he wasn't exactly cool with Sami. Sami did watch him get an ass whooping. He just saw enough is enough, and he came out and he did what he did to help him. So Kevin and Sami aren't like this yet. They'll be there, and they will go into WrestleMania, and they will dethrone the Usos. It better be the main event of night one. I'll say it. If it's not, we will have a big problem, WWE. I want it to be the night one main event. I want him to be rained down with confetti and all the nonsense, and I want him to hug it out. Great night one ending. I'm okay with it because he didn't win the title. But that does not mean for 1 second I don't believe. Sami should have won last night. And it's not, again, it's storyline. It's not even fan. It's storyline. And the rise, like Sami Zayn should have won. Let's get these comments real quick and we'll buy more into it. Sami stayed at 0.1 for me the whole time. Yeah, you look too logically at things sometimes. You just need to be a fan more often. That's what I say. That's what I say to that.
Well, yeah.
I hate for Dave to be my boss giving performance reviews. He be giving me a 0.1 all the time. I just call them as I see them. Don't matter where they happen my time. Yeah, I know that, man. I'm just saying, like, if you looked at it from a fan's perspective and you went back and watched the stuff I watched, there's no way you are 0.01%. It's just no way.
Well, besides the fans' perspective, his point of view is that there's no way they take the belts off Roman before WrestleMania, and he's going to stick to that. You have your biggest star there, but I'm saying there's a bigger star that emerged if you were a fan.
And my whole thing was, I didn't bring this up, but when you have lightning in a bottle, do you use it to your advantage, or do you just take it out into the middle of the field and say, "All right, buddy, you're free, go back"? You use it to your advantage. They've never had a bigger bolt of lightning. No, I'll say it. They've never had a bigger bolt of lightning than they have with Sami right now. With the perfect, everything lined up perfectly in Montreal, in which he's going to get his very first real title shot in the main event of a pay-per-view. Are you in WrestleMania? It doesn't get any bigger than this for Sami Zayn, and you fucking didn't do it. It's like, what? Let me. I want people to imagine had Goldberg lost to Hulk Hogan on that Nitro in Atlanta, Georgia, when he fought him for the world title. It would have been the end of WCW right then and there because it would have been a horrible idea. I say that this was a horrible idea. Sami will never have this momentum ever again, ever. If go ahead, sorry.
No, I heard everything you said, and that was after talking to many shots and many to 2:30 in the morning with my roommate. I was trying to figure this out because we're heartbroken. I'm like, we got to watch the press conference. We watched the press conference. Triple H doesn't even speak last. He speaks third. Let Sami go on last. The guy asked the question, hey, he said, you're from Montreal. I was like, yeah, I'm from Montreal. And at first I thought he was kind of crying, but he was definitely emotional.
Yeah.
He's like, for last night's reaction and even tonight's reaction, you heard the crowd. Does that ever, going forward, does that affect your creative booking? Saying, is there another chance for Sami, basically? Exactly. So he said that, and Triple H answered the question without answering the question. He talked about something else and pretty much dodged the question.
Yeah.
Then goes to, hey, get Sami in here. Sami said, without criticizing Triple H, he's criticizing him. This is not the storybook ending I wanted. He said a lot of these things. My God. But my point was this. Here's my disgustingly sad hope. I think Triple H is a Lord of the Rings fan. I think he's trying to. No.
That explains a lot because those movies suck.
Leave it alone. There were some things I can criticize about it, but whatever. If he's trying to get this ring to Mordor, you got to get Frodo and his little buddy Kevin Owens to Mordor to get this ring. The only way, you said gauntlets, right, in AEW, and the problem with whatever, you got to go through all these gauntlets. But the problem is they always win, right? Well, Sami was the gauntlet, but the thing was the gauntlet is what we've seen all last year and the year before. what is the gauntlet? What do you have to defeat? You have to take out the bloodline backing up Roman. That's why he keeps winning. So I think there is a different route to go about it. I think everything was made to make us feel like shit. Honestly, you have to take the gauntlet out. Jimmy can fight Jay. That shit's taken care of. Solo needs to get taken out because no one, face it, this is the biggest baby face we got. No one is beating Roman. And just like Sam Roberts said, Cody ain't winning either. He's going to go to WrestleMania with no story, not enough story, and to back it up unless they can do it in 5 weeks.
Cody's going to beat him.
Whatever, man. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of the man WWE telling me what to feel.
So basically, what I was telling you the tag team route. So I don't know where Solo. Maybe Solo doesn't even wrestle at WrestleMania, which I think would be weird. But basically, Sami and Kevin Owens, they're gonna get together and then they're gonna side with Cody. We're gonna see a 6-man match between WrestleMania between Sami, KO, and Cody against the Bloodline. We will see that match, and when we do, it's basically just gonna evolve from Sami and Kevin getting behind Cody, and they all have this common goal, and it's to take down the Bloodline. So night 1, it ends with Sami and KO dethroning the Usos, having their moment. Night 2 ends with Cody dethroning Roman, having his moment. But you did bring up a great point here, and it was that where was Solo? Because everybody was like, the Usos won't be there. They're not allowed. DUIs, blah, blah.
It's going to be Solo.
And they were there. Solo, where was he? I think this is very interesting because, again, when going back and watching that, the beginning to the end of Sami and the Bloodline, Solo, the first person he made friends with during that was Sami. He wasn't even really cool with Roman. Roman's like, oh, they sent you? Well, you going to acknowledge me. And Solo's like, all right, whatever. And then when he was having problems with the Usos, Solo's like, yo, no, y'all tripping. Come on, Sami, you with me. And then last night, Solo was nowhere to be found. That's very, very, very interesting. What's Solo doing? I honestly think Solo's done with the Bloodline, and we'll see it at WrestleMania.
You know, you said it before about the thing is the obvious isn't so obvious anymore. So I'm looking at what Triple H is completely making obvious because I guarantee you he's going to make it very unobvious by the time we get there. Because the obvious thing was he made it obvious. Sami's going to win. We're pointing at him. Here you go. Here's your star. Here's your hero. And then he takes that obvious, disintegrates it in our face. So now we're thinking it's clearly a tag team. It's going to be Kevin Owens with Sami versus the Usos, which is not the main story. And he knows not the main story. When he came out to the press conference, he looked a little bit like he knew he was the bad guy. And he kind of felt bad. You can see his feelings. He kind of felt bad, but he spoke professionally about what was going on because he knew what he just did. He just committed murder in someone's front yard. He knew he did that.
I as much as I hate him right now for doing it, I do give him props for sticking to his guns on it because that could not have been an easy decision to make.
I'm saying
because it was the wrong decision to make. But it was his decision, and he made it because he felt like that was what it was supposed to do, and so be it. Have at it, man. So I do want to give Triple H that credit, but fuck you, buddy. Fuck you.
The casual fan roommate, her girlfriend was here, and she was watching it, and she doesn't watch wrestling at all. I've been making her watch here and there, but she's not into it. She's watching the Sami Roman match, and this is gonna make a really good point here. Why everybody should watch the press conference. She was like, "Hey, I kind of want Roman to win." I'm lucky she didn't say that out loud that I heard that, but she was telling Jade this during the match.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, no, I would have been. Not in this house. It's only maple syrup up in here, man. And she said that to her. Like, Jay told me this, like in the car ride. It's like, she said that. What? She said that? She's like, yeah, she said that. And then we paused it to go get snacks, come back for the press conference. And then she said, because she thought Roman was bigger, the cool looking one. She's just a new person to wrestling. She doesn't know anything about Sami's story. But as soon as she heard after the press conference, she's like, I think I really love that guy. Like, the way he talks, like, what's this? Now I wanted him to win. Like, that's how convincing he is. And that's the story. And he said the storybook ending, it isn't there. He said, I looked at the crowd. This isn't fun. I'm saying the obvious is now it's over. And I'm hoping Triple H does what he's been doing and takes the obvious and flips it. Because right now he's pointing in one direction. I'm not predicting because I don't give a shit to predict. I ain't a booker. I ain't someone that tries to claim they're right. I'm a fan who likes what I feel, and I go with that. And to make this right of how I feel, I have to observe a little bit of this asshole always being unobvious. And the obvious is going to flip on my damn head. That's the only way to make this right for me as a fan. Because if I get Sami and KO supporting Cody Rhodes up into Mania, and Sami ain't going to have a strap on his waist. So compare Sami and Cody real quick. Sami is relatable and lovable. He even said at the press conference, he reminds me of Mankind. That's what Triple H said. Cody, what's the problem? He's too perfect. I'm sorry. It's too perfect. Unrelatable. Doesn't look like a normal person. He's chiseled to the gods, right? You know, he talks perfect in that promo. God damn it, he led Sami through that promo, even though there's a lot of improv in that. I get it, but that was the build. He's too perfect. He comes out, here's the obvious, number 30. And here's the swerve. No, here's the swerve. People can argue, well, he just got back from a pectoral injury. Of course they're going to put it at number 30. No, it's too perfect. No, you build Montreal, it's too perfect. Something's too perfect here. When something's lining up this much, something's got to be different. Because if this happens and they support him, I'm stepping away for a month or longer. I won't watch wrestling. I'm done. You don't get to do this to me. I was about to call the mental health police and say I've been assaulted.
Get ready for your break, man. I think Triple H is leading up towards a WrestleMania that's going to have two endings to each night that are like supposed to be feel good, and it's both going to be the Bloodline being completely dethroned and I think completely disbanded. I don't think you see Roman after WrestleMania for months. No rematch, no showing up on. I think he's just gone. And then Solo, I don't know, but
there's no hope. There's no hope, right? No
triple threat. I honestly don't think Sami is ever going to be champion. The WWE Universe, none of it. I just don't think it's ever going to happen because I see people saying, "Well, he'll get rewarded later on down the road." Why should I believe that? Why should I believe in that when they had the perfect opportunity to do it right now? And instead of deviating from plans, which they've done 1,000 times before, you just went ahead and stuck with your guns just because, oh, well, he could do it later. He'll never be this hot again. I dare say you're not going to have a babyface in WWE that'll be that hot again.
Ever.
For years. It might be 10, 20 years before we see it again. That hot. Because that reaction, I don't care if it's his hometown or not, that reaction was special. That was a CM Punk showing up after 7 years special. That was a Stone Cold pop if it lasted 5 straight minutes. It was nuts, and you just completely ignore it and use it as a tool to help Cody Rhodes. I know it sounds like I'm shitting on Cody Rhodes. He has nothing to do with this. I do feel bad that it comes across that way because I don't even hate Cody. But
whatever.
It's the wrong decision. It's the wrong decision.
It's a business decision versus a personal decision. And if you haven't seen the press conference, it's the point is you watch him deflate even more. And he's like, my story was right there. Why did Cody have to say that? Finish your story. Why did all that have to happen? I mean, I'm saying it's not right. And I think Triple H wants us to feel it's not right.
Sami's most title face is like a side mirror on the car object. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't know how else to put it. The way everything worked out, you pulled the trigger on that. You just do. Like you just do. I'll go as far as say this. If Vince McMahon was the booker right now, and they did everything the same as what they did last night, people would be giving Vince McMahon shit right now. I 100% believe that.
I heard
it was a bad decision.
I heard two people say this. One person said, hey, with Kofi and Daniel Bryan, Vince would have made Sami go over last night. That was one criticism. That's how upset people are that we're going to these resorts.
Vince would have put him in a triple threat. That's what Vince would have done.
Yeah, and then the other thing was like people saying, man, there's a hope for a triple threat, or there's a hope that Sami gets the storybook ending eventually, but it ain't right now. Just trust the process. And then that's when I started thinking, if things are lining up too perfectly and you're setting all this shit up, I want you to trick me. So because I'm watching Monday, I'm watching Friday, I'm watching every week for you to give me a hint. There's a way back in, because man, you did my boy dirty. And you did it in his hometown.
To anybody that wants to tell me that he'll have his time later, I don't believe it. I just don't, because again, you had a perfect moment and you didn't. So why would I believe that there's going to be a moment in the future that'll be better than this? It just won't. So I don't think they're going to do it.
And
I will say this.
You're right.
I will say this because I even saw someone say Money in the Bank. That's perfect. No, it's not, because now he's a baby face, and he could have been your biggest baby face had you pulled the trigger and you didn't. So I don't even know how long his momentum is going to carry now. Unfortunately, that's the sad reality of it. It sucks, but it's true. I don't think his momentum is going to carry out past WrestleMania now that he's lost to Roman, because he's now tag division and he'll be forgotten as a true main eventer once again when that tag thing's done. But I will say, Mr. Perfect, Jake the Snake, Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, whatever you want to call him. I'm drawing a blank, but I know there's more people that didn't win the world title. Ted DiBiase. These are guys that could have and probably should have won the world title, but just never did for whatever reason. And I think Sami has now joined those ranks. And I don't think he breaks free, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Oh, it's enough to make me stop watching wrestling. I'm telling you what, that's fucking with me, man. That's not right. That's just.
I will say it's going to be hard to latch on to any kind of story after this because of how good this one was and how. Again, I don't even think the payoff was bad. I don't, because we haven't really seen the final payoff. And if it's going to be what I think is going to be, then again, I've said I'll accept it. I'll accept it. But
you'll never have another hero built up this way.
I might not be able to see it again in my lifetime. That's what sucks. Is because it was like, this might be the last moment like this that I could have witnessed in my lifetime. You just never know when you're going to get it again.
Well, if Triple H wants to get people pissed off, because the planets aren't aligning right, I'm going to keep thinking back. Cody was handed number 30. This was your boy. It's going to piss me off a lot, dude. I'm sorry. And I like Cody. What I've seen of him, I really like Cody. I even liked him as the weird star guy. I even liked that. He sold that shit. I don't care. Yeah. You know, you are not the hero of the story. He's not. And as Cody, this is what I was going to say. As Cody should be like, if I was a self-respecting babyface, right, I'd be like, but I'm not the one that fans want. I need to beat Sami. I would at least say that. Fuck. I'm done.
So
I'm fucking done, man.
I'll say this. It would be like holding off the Hangman win till Revolution. The moment would have passed by. And I'll say this. Is as good as the moment still was, I think they waited a bit too long, and I think that's what eventually caused Hangman's title reign to kind of fall a little bit flat. His matches were great matches, but his reign itself was just kind of like, what are we doing here? And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he had lost some of that momentum because they waited too long to have that match. That's what I think happened with Hangman. Still a good moment, not knocking it, but they did wait a little too long on it. And that's a great example of it, though. They waited too long, and it didn't work for Hangman, unfortunately. I wish it did for him. I wish it did, but it just didn't. Shout out to Mercedes before. I'll go ahead and do it. I didn't watch it because, again,
Bailey was there too.
I was like the crowd in Montreal after the match was over and after everything happened, closed credits. I was just deflated. And I don't want to watch wrestling deflated because I was like, I won't give it the energy it deserves. I don't want to be like, yeah, I didn't like that match because I was already in just like man, this sucks. I didn't want to do that. I will say I did tune into the Kenta match because my buddy sent me a picture. He met CM Punk last night at the show. And I was like, yo, wait, CM Punk's at that show? And then I saw Kenta was in the ring. I was like, wait a second. Kenta and CM Punk have some real beef. I'm going to tune it on. I'm going to watch it real quick, see if CM Punk comes out and busts his ass. So there was a point in the match where something was happening and somebody ran out to ringside in a little hoodie, a zip-up hoodie, and they didn't show the face. They just showed like the arm and everything. I was like, yo, that's CM Punk. And I was about to just be on a complete high. And then they panned out and it was Juice Robinson. And I was like, yo, that's the exact opposite of rock hard, man. You just, I hate you right now, Juice. But yeah, so that was the only other wrestling I watched. That was the Kenta match. It was a decent match, but yeah, I didn't want to do it to Kyrie and Mercedes because I love Kyrie, and I don't want to like just be like I want to be in a good mood when I watch it. Yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about the match, like a 25-minute banger.
You know, I really hope that Triple H really is a Lord of the Rings fan, and no, I'm serious. And I hope getting, you know, Frodo to drop off that ring at Mordor, and I'm hoping Samwise Gamgee is Cody and says, you know what, I ain't the star, you can have my fucking spot. Fuck you, Cody. I'm joking.
Hey, imagine if when they got to Mordor and they went to drop the ring in, Gandalf was like, hold on, and he took the ring from him and dropped it himself. Imagine if that happened. How mad would you be? Because in this scenario, Gandalf is Cody Rhodes.
Come on, Cody. Bitches. Do the right thing. Do the right thing, Cody. Give it to Sammy.
Oh man, where's give your spot to Sammy? She's talking about. She goes, "Oh man, I'm gonna have to watch Lord of the Rings soon." Fuck.
How do you compete as a babyface knowing Sami Zayn exists? How do you do that? How does Cody come out as a respect? I love Cody, I do.
I know.
How do you come out? I would be conflicted. I'd be like, "Fuck."
I think the fact
he took my job away.
I think the fact that Cody didn't shy away from it though. Like he kind of was just welcoming of it, and I think that helps because we're like, well, we can't hate him because he's kind of on our side. So I give him credit. I don't think he'll stay as hot as he is right now. I remember with the prediction show, I said if he wins it, his title run will be a bomb. It won't be a successful title run. And I stand by that because again, I don't know what the story is after he wins the title. I knew what Sammy's was. I don't know what was Cody's. I just don't. I've heard some theories. I don't think they're in WWE's plans because he ain't gonna turn Cody heel. That ain't happening. But that's the show. That's the show. Tidy's amped. I ain't seen Tidy like this yet. He is so mad at you, Triple H.
It's not his fault. I keep thinking he has a plan to revert this shit somehow because like I was begging on Twitter. I was like, people are like, ugh. I was like, you know what? Sammy fans are beggars, and beggars can't be choosers. I'll take a 3-way fight. I'll do whatever I got to get, man. And I'm hoping Cody says something like, you know, I ain't the guy really, man. We all know who the guy is.
So
at least acknowledge it, Cody.
I was talking about this on regularly scheduled hostilities about like the 3-way. Cause again, I don't necessarily want the 3-way, but then I started like kind of talking through a little bit.
We're not supposed to want it.
I started talking through a little bit and I'm like, you know what? Honestly, as a fan, why would I hate that when you have two people who are worthy of that spot? It's not like they're forcing someone into that spot. Like we have a person who is worthy. Like Sammy is worthy of the spot at this moment right now. Right now, he's worthy of the spot. So if there was a way where they both got in there, they both pinned Roman Reigns, they both walked out with a title, the titles are split. Roman decides he wants to go after Cody for whatever reason. Maybe Cody's the one that hit the finisher to end it. So he picks Cody. Cody can beat him at Backlash, get his one-on-one victory over Roman Reigns, and it still is significant because it took 2 to beat him last time. That's a 3-way scenario. And again, I'm not saying do that. There's probably much better story. I'm just saying, like, off the top of my head, I came up with that theory, and I'm like, that's not even a bad one. No. So
I have
I'm not gonna hate on a 3-way if it happens. I don't think it's gonna happen though. I think they made that pretty clear last night when Sami speared Jay, which was a great way to use Jay last night because nobody saw that happening. Cody will end up with the Cena reaction. Yeah, he will because I think he wants to be the next Cena. But that's what he's going for. He'll never turn heel. It just isn't going to happen. She ain't leaving. Well, I guess she could leave WWE. I don't think she leaves WWE. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, she was sitting. I saw that and people were lined up to meet her. But again, my buddy like just ran into him, took a picture with him, and I hate him. Right now. I absolutely hate him right now. You son of a bitch. Why don't you send him my way? That'll never happen to me. I'll never just run into CM Punk. It's not fair, man. I hate it. But anyway, that's a show. Man, I hope this like funk wears off before before Raw tomorrow.
My funk will wear off. I'm just looking for little seeds of hope each week now because man, dude, whatever, man. There's gonna be a point where I just take off for a month. Like, where's Heidi? I hear he's hanging out with beach bums, drinking beer and asking for quarters. We'll wrestle if Sami can be champion on a cardboard thing. Dude, that's gonna be me, man. This may damage me more than I thought.
No, man, and again, that's why like the ending. I always said the ending. If it made me feel,
I felt.
I can't be mad at it, and it's not like I'm like feeling anger. It's, bro, Manny, if you don't get the frick out of my dang video and chat right now, boy, I know what you're doing. Get out of here, man.
Well, it's an injustice feeling. Like an injustice has been done. Like you're really gonna tell the coolest person that we all love that you ain't good enough for WrestleMania, man. You ain't good enough for the main event. But you know who is? The dude that should have been carrying your bags because he hasn't been here. He's good enough. That's what I'm saying. The injustice of that alone, it's not my head thinking. My heart thinks that.
Heidi is pissed.
And it hurts.
Yeah, Heidi is pissed.
And it hurts. It hurts a lot, man. Like, it took me 5 minutes to be like, what's going on? And then I fucking cried when I said he can't be good enough for WrestleMania. Because that's the real story. The story is he's supposed to be good enough for WrestleMania. And so is KO, etc., etc.
So my guy, Manny here, he was actually at the show last night. So he got to witness that shit. Oh man. I would have cried in that arena last night for sure. Would have cried in that arena for sure last night.
I can't handle the truth, man. I can't.
But yeah, that's the show. As y'all, I told y'all, we didn't cry the whole time. I did say we might, but we didn't. So that's a good thing.
Well, I've been holding it back right now. So.
He's amped up, and I'm good. I'm glad we ended with this, and not started with this because Tidy been amped up the whole time. Look, let me tell you something about Oscar.
I wouldn't be able to talk about anything else, but
Right, Carol should have won the damn match.
Oh man, Cody needs to step down.
I can't believe Brock kicked Bobby in the dick. That's the show. We'll be back next week, guys. Topic again, I don't know. I'll try and make it not Cody because I don't want to be sad.
No,
I'll try and think of something fun though. It's WrestleMania season, so we should just be having fun with it. And I'll be back tomorrow for the Raw recap. So that's over on Wrestle Buddy. Check that out if you're a new viewer, and if you're not and you already knew, then hopefully I'll see you there tomorrow night. Oh man, tomorrow better be a good show.
Better.
But that's that. Any last words before we go? Oh man.
I still have hope. This is like I'm not like a lot of the wrestling fans been watching the last 20 years. I came back with Seth Rollins with Authority, and there were certain things that I thought I loved and I was really into. Saw John Cena, even saw him on the One Total Diva show or whatever, and I was like, oh, I like John Cena. I like Nikki Bella. No, I don't like Nikki Bella because she did John wrong. Oh, I like Nikki Bella again. I thought I loved somebody. I really thought I loved somebody until I loved somebody, and that somebody just got kidnapped, took to another country, and then I get a phone call telling me that they just executed him, and then they sent me a video of it. How do you think that makes me feel as a wrestling fan? I thought I loved Seth Rollins until Sami Zayn existed. This
Bro,
shit hurts.
Roman ain't gonna be on Raw.
So I have to have hope. It's a way to bring it back, man. There's got to be. I'm gonna lose my shit, man.
This is a good one. He thinks Roman Reigns gonna be on the show tomorrow night. If you give me a Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns face to face tomorrow, that'll help me. That'll help me because I want to see that.
They got to start it sometime, right?
I think it would be a magical and the perfect. Like, don't even let people get a chance to talk about the Sami stuff.
Yeah,
put Roman and Cody in there. Now. The first segment on Monday night. Do it. Look at that, Manny.
That's smart.
Is that I don't even know if it's legit. If he just came up with the idea, do it and then put Cody in there with him like that. You need to do it. You need to do it because oh my God, y'all made the wrong decision. Y'all made such a bad decision. But yeah, Cody and Kevin face to face. Cody. I don't want to see. I don't know why you do that, but I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's the show. I'll be back tomorrow for our recap. Please be a good show. Please, please, please be a good show. And let this all just be a horrible nightmare that I'm going to wake up from and be like, oh no, Sami actually won. Everything is right in the world. But yeah, I'll see y'all tomorrow. And if not, see y'all next week. Tidy later. But
I'm trying to cheer up, man.